Hi, this is Martin, and I'd like to tell a little story about a restaurant, Patsy's, in New York City. It's West 56th Street between 7th Avenue and Broadway, and home to a lot of celebrities. This particular evening, Billy Martin and the Yankees were celebrating a World Series victory, and Frank Sinatra has an important role. So let me begin. It was the year the Yankees won the World Series when Billy Martin was the manager, says Joe, who's the son of the founder of the restaurant Patsy's. I got a call asking me to reserve a table upstairs for 48 people. The Yankees were coming to celebrate at Patsy's. When Billy Martin and the rest of the Yankees arrived, I took them upstairs, but I didn't give them their usual table, the one in the alcove and behind a curtain for maximum security and privacy. Billy gave me a hard time. What's wrong? He wanted to know. How come we don't get that special table? I like that table. It's nice. It's near a window, a nice view. I'm sorry, Billy, I said. The table is reserved. I know it's reserved, Billy said. It's reserved for me and the rest of the team. Not tonight, Billy, I said. I just can't do it. And then I made a really big mistake. It's reserved for someone really important, I said. You remember Billy Martin. He was never the calmest guy in the world. And when I said that, I thought he was going to start yelling. But all he said was, "Oh yeah? Who's more important than my team after we just won the World Series? Tell me who." I was doing my best to protect my other guests' privacy, and I was saved from having to say anything by Frank Sinatra's arrival. When Billy saw Frank coming up the stairs, he got all quiet and his eyes got really big. "Sinatra," Billy said. "Frank Sinatra. Wow. He could have my table. He can have the whole Yankee team. Joey, I've always wanted to meet Frank Sinatra. You gotta introduce us. I want to say a real hello to him." "Billy," I said, "you saw him. Isn't that enough? When Frank comes here, he wants privacy. He likes to eat with his friends and doesn't want to talk to strangers." "We're not strangers," Billy shouted. "We're the New York Yankees, and we just won the World Series." "I know," I said. "You're the Yankees, and Frank has always been a Dodgers fan." "I'll join the Dodgers," Billy said, laughing. "Whatever. You just gotta introduce me to Sinatra." The Yankees settled themselves into a big table up on the second floor, and Frank and his pals got the really private table in the alcove at the back. After they were seated, I said to Frank, "You know, the Yankees are here." "Yeah," Frank said, laughing, "and the British are coming." "Frank," I said, "Billy Martin wants to come over and say hello. You know, just shake your hand and say hello." "Joey," Frank said, "I just flew in from the coast. I really don't feel like glad-handing a bunch of people I don't know." "I know, Frank," I said, "and I wouldn't ask you, but this guy, Billy Martin, it's so important to him." Frank was quiet for a moment, and then he said, "Okay, Joey, for you. Bring him over." I left the alcove and walked over to Billy Martin. "Come on, Billy," I said. "I'll introduce you to Frank Sinatra." "Guys!" Billy yelled so loud you could hear him both up and downstairs in the restaurant. "Come on, we're going to meet Frank Sinatra." "Billy, I didn't say all 48 of you. I thought it was just you." "Come on, Joey. Don't keep Frank Sinatra waiting. He wants to meet us." And so the entire Yankee team lined up behind Billy Martin, following me as I led the way to Frank's table. You should have seen those guys. They were quiet, polite. They reminded me of kids lined up for confession. I introduced Billy, and he introduced the rest of the team. And Frank shook everyone's hand and congratulated them on their big win. After that, the Yankees went back to their table and continued with their party, while Frank and his friends had their dinner. Of course, the Yankees didn't want to leave while Frank Sinatra was still there, and it was only after Frank and his party left, waving goodbye, that Billy Martin called me over. "Thanks, Joey," he said. "You made this an even bigger night for all of us. Now can I have the check?" "No," I said. "Sorry, Billy, but you can't have the check." "What are you talking about, Joey? What do you mean I can't have the check?" You can't have the check because there is no check, I told Billy Martin. Frank Sinatra paid it. So that's a nice story about the Yankees and Frank Sinatra. Thank you for taking the time, and farewell until the next time.